Hello and welcome to the Death Mountaineers YouTube channel. My name is Maikeru. So I was thinking to myself lately, we have a channel with a Zelda reference as a name, and we really haven't done a whole lot of Zelda content. That, coupled with the fact that we've had some people asking for new Zelda content, made me realize that now is as good a time as any to make a new video on Zelda. And not just any Zelda games, we're going to be looking at the Ocarina of Time and the Majora's Mask, which are two of my favorites. More specifically, we're going to be looking into the hero of time, who is the protagonist of those games. So prepare yourself for a story filled with tragedy, sadness, sorrow, and loss. Let's take a look at the hero of time. Now everyone's always spatting white goo, talking about how amazing these games are, and they aren't wrong. However, after 20 years, what keeps me coming back is the story. At first glance, the story seems pretty standard for the Zelda universe. You go through dungeons, collect some crap, get the Triforce, rescue the princess, blah blah. However, the hero of time's personal story is one of isolation, tragedy, and loss, and that's what we're going to be looking into today. This is the hero of time, a little boy named Link, or if you like me, ass butt. Hidden away in a magical forest, no parents, ostracized by everybody around him because he's, well, different. You see, this forest is occupied by the Kokiri, which is a race of forever children accompanied by fairy familiars. But Link doesn't have a fairy, just one green-haired friend named Saria. But one day everything changed. At the request of the guardian of the forest, a fairy finally came to Link. Finally he could be like the others, be accepted. But no. Despite Saria being happy for him, this fairy Navi came with a mission that would forever doom our protagonist to a life of tragedy. She's also really fucking annoying. Regardless, I believe that it's the idea of friendship and the desire to belong that spurred Link to accept his quest. The Deku Tree is essentially the big daddy of the forest and is pretty reclusive. The denizens rarely get to see or talk to him, so Link must feel pretty important. New fairy, chat with dad, what a good day. However, it turns out that the Deku Tree is on his death flower bed. See what I did there? This is good stuff, I know. He's dying due to a curse from some dick that lives in the desert. Link tries to cure the Deku Tree but finds out that it was doomed from the start. There's a bigger picture at hand, and Link must now leave the forest and save the world. Despite the Deku Tree being distant and long-winded, he is the only father figure Link has ever known, so Link adheres to his wishes. But wait, no Kokiri has ever left the forest, and nobody but Navi is coming with him. On his way out of the woods, he runs into Saria at the threshold to a larger world. Oh, you're leaving. I always knew that one day this day would come. I've always known we were so different. And I'm not sad because you have a lot ahead of you. I want you to take this. Don't forget me. At this point, it's clear that she not only has a deep affection for this little boy, but also was aware of how different they are. This must have been earth-shattering for Link to hear, especially at this time. He lost his father, his home, and now he has to leave the last person who truly cared about him behind. Now, because the story in this game, detail for detail, is too long, and I don't want to bore your ADHD internet asses with it, it's time for summary. After arriving at Hyrule Castle, Link is given a mission to gather the keys to the Sacred Realm by the young Princess Zelda. In order to obtain the keys, Link saves the Goron race and the Princess of the Zoras, making him an official brother of the Goron leader and fiancé of the Zora Princess. He even makes friends with a horse. Finally, this poor bastard has some love and respect, but on the flip side, this kid has faced some serious trauma. Monsters, darkness, nightmarish creatures trying to kill him at every turn. He's 9 for fuck's sake, that's a lot to go through, and something that would cripple the mind of the average person. But it's all about to go even farther downhill. During his victory lap back to Hyrule Castle, Link sees a horse galloping across the drawbridge. It's none other than Impa, Zelda's caretaker, who has the young Zelda under her arm and is spiriting her away in the middle of the night. As they ride by, Zelda drops the Ocarina of Time for Link. It's her last gift and their last hope. Hot on their tail is Ganondorf. Now Link is too small, too weak, and too late to do anything to stop him. Ganon ridicules Link and knocks him down, taking after the two escapees. Picking up the ocarina, a message from Zelda appears in Link's mind, giving him instructions on what to do next. Upon entering the Temple of Time, he finds the Master Sword, the answer to his problems, the Sword of Evil's Bane, the one thing that could allow him to defeat Ganondorf and get Zelda back so he can finally live free, so we can finally have friends and be happy. Link grabs a Master Sword and pulls it out of the pedestal and sees Ganondorf. The man from the desert was waiting for Link, waiting for him to unlock the door to the Sacred Realm. It was just a ploy, a ruse to grant him access to the Triforce and unlimited... Link then awakens in the Sacred Realm to find himself in the body of an adult. 7 years have gone by. 7 years of death, destruction, and devastation. 7 years for everything he worked for to fall apart. 7 years his friends suffered because he simply wasn't strong enough to protect them. And where are they now? On top of all of this, Link has a new mission to find and awaken the sages and use their power to stop Ganon, save Zelda, and take back the Triforce. But 7 years, think about that. That's 5th grade through senior year, man. Link lost all of that, just gone in the blink of an eye, and as an adult, he now has to mature mentally at an alarming rate in order to cope with his new surroundings. Surroundings he could easily feel responsible for. You see, Link is a hero by nature. Protecting Hyrule was his job, and he failed. And because of it, he got locked away due to foolish, childish mistakes made by himself and Zelda. Now everything is destroyed, and his friends are gone. An aspect of these games that has been explained in great detail already is the idea that Link is you, the player, which, as long as you're paying attention to the dialogue in the game, puts you in this situation. As a child, Link's journey was already a lonely one, but the atmosphere for the most part was happy and Navi was always there for you. However, now as an adult, you and Navi are totally on your own, left to fix the desolate, haunted land of Hyrule. It's no coincidence that the first 3 temples you visit as an adult are those of the forest, mountain, and lake. Link is trying to find his roots, trying to take comfort in nostalgia, but everywhere he turns, there's just the unescapable darkness, the desolation, and the change. The forest is now dark, haunted, and riddled with monsters. The faces of the children Link knew from his childhood have not changed, but they no longer recognize him. The Goron village has been decimated, its citizens captured and eaten by a dragon, and the Zora's domain has been entirely frozen over. To make matters worse, in each temple that Link goes to, he finds his long-lost friends, and each time he must let them go forever. Saria, Darunia, and Ruto are now sages who belong to the Sacred Realm, a place Link can only visit in passing. One by one they leave him forever, wishing him the best, encouraging him, but ultimately disappearing to fulfill their duties, something they've had time to accept. However, inside, Link is still just a boy, and after losing everything and everyone he ever cared about, he then has to go directly to hell. The Shadow Temple is a major turning point for the hero of time. This is the catalyst for 2 important pieces of character development. First, Link has lost everything and everyone besides Navi, and now he must face the darkest leg of his journey utterly alone with that loss weighing on him. Triumph in your darkest time is a sign of maturity, and as a kid, the Spirit Temple is often where I simply stopped playing. The ordeals of the journey were too hard on me emotionally to continue through such a disturbing and convoluted place. That kind of personal response to his story was masterfully created by the designers of the game. As an adult, I now just see it as part of the journey, a low point that you must get through to achieve your goals. Second, I believe the Shadow Temple is a snapping point for Link. He has to let go of the ideals of friendship and belonging he wanted his whole life and just forge ahead. Eye on the prize, grit teeth, determination, and courage. But it leaves an emptiness inside him. The magic is gone. There's nothing left but grim reality. It's time to pay the bills. When Link is finally reunited with Zelda, the only person alive besides himself and Navi who knows what he's been through, they finally defeat Ganon. But once again, this victory is bittersweet. Link must now go back to his childhood, close the door to the future, and leave the Master Sword behind. He has to go back to a place where he doesn't belong, with people who could never believe, let alone understand what he's been through. But at least he has Navi. Nope, never mind. Link's only true companion, the person who was with him through thick and thin, simply flies away in the end, without so much as a word, never to return. Our hero is now a man out of time, locked in complete mental isolation, absolutely alone in the world. And his story doesn't end here though, as the most difficult trial is still yet to come. The sequel to the Ocarina of Time, The Legend of Zelda the Majora's Mask, is an even darker story, but continues the characterization of the hero of time substantially. After saving the future but ultimately losing everything, Link simply leaves Hyrule with Epona in search of Navi. Before heading out, Zelda gives him the Ocarina of Time as a parting gift. In the middle of nowhere, Link runs into a forest imp with a strange mask who knocks him out and steals all his shit. Also, Epona takes off, so there goes that. And to make matters worse, in pursuit of the bastard, Link falls into a deep hole and is transformed into some shitty Deku scrub. And here's where things get weird. Link finds himself in a place called Termina, some messed up mirror dimension of Hyrule. There's been speculation of the origin of this place since the game's inception. Some people think Link is dead and is dealing with passing on. Others take it at face value. Regardless, what Link deals with in Termina is the inner demons of the Hero of Time. Everyone in Termina is a physical copy of a citizen of Hyrule. These are people Link let down in the Ocarina of Time, people who suffered and died at the hands of Ganondorf in the future, and this land is doomed. In 3 days from Link's arrival, Termina will be hit by an angry-ass looking moon, and everyone will die. And they do, over and over again. Each time Link travels back to the start of the first day in order to try once more to save the land. Throughout his journey, he faces all 5 stages of grief represented by the different regions and citizens of Termina. However, this cyclical way of reliving a nightmare scenario is commonly attributed to a condition known as post-traumatic stress disorder, brought on by past trauma or great stress in one's life. This condition forces people to relive their nightmares over and over as if they're really happening. I believe that regardless of the official explanation of the origins of Termina, that this is the Hero of Time's final test, coping with the loss and the grief of his life. There's nowhere to run from what is within you, or from the past. Watching the people of Hyrule die over and over again is Link's nightmare, something he knows happens in a future world, and something he believes is his fault. Throughout the game, Link receives many masks that change him, allowing him to take on different forms or traits. The Western concept of personality is formed by traits and habits. Many people consider their personality to be who they truly are. However, a personality is a malleable thing. You may be similar to what you were like as a child, or even last week, but you change every day. The word personality comes from the Latin or Greek word persona, which doubles as mask. Because of the malleable nature of personality, it can be seen as a mask one wears over their true being. However, the Hero of Time has a personality disorder. He no longer knows who he is. Is he a man or a boy? Which time does he belong to, the past or the future? Remember when I mentioned the Shadow Temple being a snapping point for Link? That's when all this took root. When he pushed through that trial, he also squashed all his emotion into a box in order to press on and do what needed to be done. Termina is that box, and at this point Link finds himself stuck inside of it. The most prevalent masks he wears are that of a child, of a hero, and of a lover. All aspects of his personality which must be accepted and incorporated for our hero to be able to find himself at long last. Each and every side mission in Majora's Mask can be attributed to something Link went through personally within the Ocarina of Time. It isn't until he has solved each and every one of them that he's able to defeat the Skull Kid and save Termina, or save himself. But once this is done, Link is free once more to continue on his journey to find Navi, a whole person. Many people, including myself, find strong emotional ties to these two games, and I have a feeling those ties are why these titles are constantly on the list of the best games ever made. Sure, they can be wonky, and with the right backwards jump, they can be totally broken, but it's the human connection we have with Link that binds us to this story. Because he was designed to be a blank slate for the players to put themselves into, the player goes through everything Link does. We get attached to our friends within the game. We cherish the brief time we get to spend with them before we too are off on our own in Hyrule, and we miss them when we become adults and have to accept our responsibilities. These games are heady and take concentration, which in turn creates immersion. We truly go through the same struggles as Link as we progress, tying us to him and making his losses and failures personal. I would really like to delve into this more, especially regarding my thoughts on the Majora's Mask, so if you're interested in that, leave a like on the video to let me know. And what are your thoughts on this in-depth look into the Hero of Time? Let me know in the comments below, as I'm always into speculating characterization. Hey guys, thanks so much for sticking through the entire video. Before we get out of here, I just want to send out a special thank you to our top patron, Jake Lees, for his very generous donations this month. It's really been helping me out, and I probably wouldn't have been able to get this video out without you. So thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. If you want to join Jake on our Patreon, the link will be in the description below. Besides that, we got some cool stuff coming up. I'm already in the works on our new Pokemon Mythos Busters video. And until then, make sure to follow us on social media, especially Twitter, where you can keep up with us on all our daily shit and what we're doing with the channel. So thank you guys again so much. Hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, and I will see you next time.